Every moment in your life is filled with all the opportunities that life has to offer.
My name is Stephanie Wilson-Coleman.
You see, life is a canvas, and you decide to color. What colors will you choose for your life today?
Listen to the message in its melody, sweetest lyrics that I ever heard. There's a message in the songs of birds. Tomorrow is another day.
Greetings and welcome to A Sip of Inspiration. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, known as the Empowerment Doctor. And tonight, I promise you, you will have one of the best and most exciting experiences in your life. As always, I usually talk about things that you can do to make sure that you're living your dreams, to make sure that you have all the health you need, all of the money you want. And tonight will be no different. We're going to talk about relationships. Joining me, ladies, so get ready, there are two men. One is in a relationship, though, and the other one is looking. So who knows what could happen. So joining me is an author by the name of Okira Hollis.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. His book is Be Your Priority and Not His Option. I think that is a great book. We're going to come back and you're going to get to tell us a little bit about that. And I've got, just like an innocent bystander, or so he thinks he is, Christopher Hill. How are you, Christopher?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Now, Christopher is divorced,
Yes,
currently single and dating.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So tonight, in this short period of time, we're going to ask some questions and hopefully, ladies, get some answers to some questions that you have been longing for. In the book, Be Your Priority, Not His Option, before we talk about why you wrote it, there was one thing that I found incredibly interesting, and that's the scale. What men consider a 10, then an 8, 9, 6, 7, 4, 5. So we got to be sure we talk about some of that. So why did you write this book?
Well, actually, I actually have a lot of female friends, and one day I discovered they really didn't know that much about men. So I figured if they didn't know a lot about men, then that meant a lot of other women didn't know a lot about men. So I decided that I would give them my most detailed account of how men really are.
Okay. And how are men really?
We are simple, and we can be complicated, all at the same time. But I think actually what makes us more complicated is the way that women think.
Okay.
And so because of the way that you guys think, because women are just plainly complicated, it complicates it for you guys. We become more complicated.
Okay, more complicated than you really are in
Yes.
our eyes. Okay.
Exactly.
So if there's one thing that a woman should learn from this book about relationships, what would that be?
She is the most important person to herself.
Okay.
I think that in a relationship, you are your priority. You are the most important person in the relationship. While I'm not saying be selfish, but you have to think about what it is that you need, what it is that you really want in order to properly deal with another human being.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Christopher Hill, better known as Stand and Deliver. He is a poet.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, right. I find that sexier than a spoken word artist. So, excuse me, ladies. So, tell me about your take on relationships.
Well, I agree with Okia here that men, we are simple in nature. And what makes it complicated is that women don't take the time to learn us. They have a stereotype ideal of us, and we're there. Some of us are open books. Some of us are closed books. The closed books have hurt and pain in them. We have to take the time and peel back that cover and see what's inside that book. It's a good book. Most men are good books.
Most men are good books. Okay, 90% of them are. Oh, well, let's say everybody can't win.
No, it's hard.
What are some of the stereotypes that women have about men?
All dogs.
Do they really?
Yes. Most women, or a lot of women, I would say, think that men are dogs. Actually, I would have to say it's not that far off.
Oh, okay.
It's not that far off. There are a considerable, I would say there's more than it should be that are dogs, but not all men are dogs.
Okay, so what's a dog? Define dog.
A man who is not truthful in his ways or his actions.
Okay.
I could agree with that.
Okay.
I could agree with
So, what percentage of men do you think are stuck in that category?
Honestly,
Honestly.
I'm going to say like 85%.
Would you agree?
I was going to give it between 75 to 85%.
Wow.
But you know what?
That seems high to me. But
It
okay.
varies. It varies on age. I think
Okay.
the younger you go, the higher the number is.
Okay.
As you get older, you see guys mature out of that.
Okay.
So,
So, and youth is just a matter of maybe trying to figure out what it is you like, who you are mainly. I mean, when you're 18 to 25, you don't even know who you are yet.
It's really about the reckoning, a point of, it's a moment in life where you meet someone that you feel comfortable with. When I was married, I met her at 21.
Okay.
When I met her, I knew who I was at 21 and
Okay.
18. I felt comfortable to share my life with this woman. It didn't work out, I understand. But the generation nowadays is really not about knowing who they are. It's about selfishness.
Okay.
when you're younger, I've always looked at it as you go through this period where you're basically just trying to get your numbers up.
Oh,
And
okay.
what I mean by that is you're trying to have sex with as many women as you possibly can, because that's the pressure that men put on each other. Because while I'm not sure if a lot of women know this, but women are a big deal to men. A lot of guys get their self-esteem based on the number of women that they've slept with. So
Or
when you're
people
younger,
they slept with.
or said that they slept with. That's why when you're a little kid, you lying about having sex.
Okay.
You 6th grade talking about I did it in the alley.
Okay.
No, you ain't do anything in the alley.
Okay.
But I mean, that's just the pressure that we put on each other. So as you get older, there are some men who don't get out of that. There are grown men, 37, 38, 40 years old, who still feel like that's the way to go.
Yep.
But there are some men who mature out of it.
Okay, so when you're looking for a relationship as a man, what are you looking for in a woman?
Me personally,
Or men in general?
as far as well, first thing is you want to be attracted to her.
Okay.
That's always a given.
Describe or define attractive, because that is like an adjective. What does it mean?
Let me say this. The most attractive woman, ladies, if y'all listening, listen, is the one who has on the most clothes. Showing your flesh and all that is not attractive. If you have on a form-fitting dress, that is very attractive. If you have on something that's showing a lot of skin, that's almost raunchy, is reserved for the bedroom, that's not attractive. Attractive is a woman knowing who she is and is comfortable in her skin and who she is and is confident in who she is. Able to speak to me and not at me. At me to treat me like her friend and not her son.
But those little bitty clothes will get you a lot of attention.
A lot of attention.
It will get you a lot of attention.
Okay. And there's a difference between getting attention and then actually drawing one's attention to you, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. So first thing we know is women cover up some. So men like to use their imagination, I guess.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing.
Okay. What else makes you, what else attracts men?
For me, it's how she makes me feel when I talk to her. Like if she makes me feel comfortable,
Oh, what's comfortable?
well, like you could just, I'm goofy.
Okay.
So if I'm talking to you and I get the impression that if I do something goofy, you might look at me and frown, then you kind of like, but if I get the impression that if I do something goofy, you might just think is, you might laugh and just be like, boy, you crazy?
Uh-huh.
That's
Okay.
attractive. And somebody who doesn't necessarily take themselves real serious. Like you might be able to, you can take a joke and you can give
Okay.
a joke.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm dating you or if I'm already speaking to you, you have to pretty much assume I think you're attractive. But I mean, like for me, I got big lips. So if somebody wanted to joke about my lips, hey, that's fine. I already know it. I could take that joke.
Okay.
So if I was talking to somebody who had big lips and I was joking about her lips and she got all sensitive about it, that's somebody who can't take a joke. I might be joking about your lips because I think they sexy.
Okay.
Because I think big lips are sexy.
Okay.
But so if somebody who could take a joke, somebody who doesn't necessarily take themselves seriously all the time.
Someone that can laugh at themselves. Someone that can laugh at themselves and be comfortable. Just laugh. Be yourself. A lot of women are trying to be something that they're not to impress a man. They don't need to be that. If you be yourself.
Okay. Well, how do men feel about independent women?
I love them.
I love them. I'm a product.
That's what they say.
No, hey,
That's not what
I
they
just said
mean.
me personally.
Okay.
I love them. Now, at the same time, I'm not going to be naive to the fact that there are plenty of men who are somewhat intimidated by independent women, but a lot of it has to do with the presentation of the independent woman.
Okay.
A guy is not. I mean, if I meet you and I'm speaking to you and you are talking about all of the things that you do. I do this, I do that, I'm this, I'm that. It's kind of like, okay, why are you trying to impress me with what you do? Just talk to me regular. Now, some guys are going to look at her and think that she's basically competing with them. Like, there are times when you will meet a girl, and it's kind of like when you're a little kid and you're on the playground with a bunch of boys and everybody's trying to see who's the alpha male going to be. You don't want to do that with a woman. You don't want to do that. You do that all day with men.
Right.
You don't want to have that going on with the woman. So it depends on the way that she presents it a lot of times. But regardless, there are still men who are going to be intimidated just by the fact that you have a lot, because they feel like part of their power or part of their worth comes with what they can provide for you.
Yes. I dated an alpha woman. Man, we dated for 2 years. Great relationship. But she had a hard time dealing with the fact that I wasn't bow down to her. I'm like, I'm not your son. I was actually older than her. I'm like, you can't yell at me. She's an alpha. She's corporate. She was corporate. So everything was done for a reason. And independent, cool, no problem. I can deal with an independent woman. A lot of men can't, because they can't handle the materialistic side of it. Oh, she driving this, she driving that. I ain't got this, I ain't got that. Nah. An independent woman is just as good as a woman who's not independent. But if you think about it, a lot of women are independent nowadays.
We've got a caller. We're going to take a call from Tim. How are you doing, Tim?
Pretty well. I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, how you doing, Tim?
Hey,
Hello?
Tim. How you
Hi.
doing?
Yeah.
Hi there. This question is for the doctor. I'm just a little curious on how to be true to myself when my significant other basically makes me lie to myself and lie to her.
Can you repeat that?
He said,
Yeah, could you turn your television set down just a little bit, because we're getting an echo, and could you repeat your question, please?
Oh, an echo?
Yeah. Could you repeat your
Can you
question?
hear me now?
That's better.
Yes.
Yeah, the question to the doctor was, how do I be true to myself when my significant other makes me lie to myself and to her on a frequent basis?
Wow.
well,
That was for her.
That's for me.
The empowered doctor.
That's right. First off, I believe some similar things to Akira. I believe that in all of your relationships, whether it's your relationship, your personal relationship, your relationship at work, your relationship with your money, your relationship with your friends, I do believe that you have to be your own priority. I think that no one makes you lie to them. Lying to someone is a decision that you have made, and generally we tell lies because we feel that what we say or how we feel will hurt the other person, but what we've really done is projected our own insecurities onto the other person. So what we have to do is we have to be real clear and true with how we feel about everything. So you have to be real clear about how you feel about the relationship. What are you getting out of the relationship? You need to look at that too. We stay in places because we're getting something out of it. We're getting some kind of emotional fix, maybe we're getting a financial fix, but we're getting something out of it. So you've got to deal with that first. That's an internal conversation that you have to have. And then you've got to ask yourself, why am I in a situation where I am allowing someone to treat me worse or even better than I think that I need to be? Sometimes people are really good to us and we don't feel we deserve it, so then we do things that will destroy that relationship. But that's another show. Thank you very much.
Well, I found my mother in my rat's dress, so.
Okay. Now, what are the mistakes that women make? Let's talk about what's in here. What are the mistakes that women make?
All right, let's see. Where do we begin?
Yeah, that's a
I know, just pick one, okay?
that might be another show.
I know, that's right. We could do 3 or 4 of these.
Assuming.
Okay, assuming. Okay.
Assuming.
Yes,
Let's talk about assuming.
that's the big one.
Okay.
Assuming.
What-
Okay.
What have you found?
One of the mistakes that a lot of women make is that they will assume that they are in a relationship when they are not in a relationship. They will.
Okay.
They will also assume just because a guy is having sex with them, that means he really cares about them, or that they are some type of priority to him. When a lot of times, or there are times when that is not the case.
How do you find out then?
You ask.
And
Simply.
what words should you use?
Are we in a relationship?
Okay.
Are we exclusive? That word is key, exclusive.
Okay.
Don't assume because he comes over all the time, you might be his main booty call. Simple as that. You might be his main booty call. You might be fulfilling a physical need for that man. He might not be emotionally attached to you, not one bit. You have to ask. Communication, ladies, is key.
Okay. So you just ask,
You just ask. Yes.
where is this going?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And most men, you say that to him, where this is going, he's going to take a step back, like, oh, whoa.
He's gonna pause.
He's going to pause.
He's gonna think.
Okay.
And what he's thinking to himself is, okay, how am I going to play this? How am I going to say this? Especially, well, it depends on where he's at with it. Now, if you are if he wants to be that way, then he's probably just going to pause, give it a second, and then he'll come with something. But if you're not, he's pausing, he's thinking to himself, okay, how am I going to say this where she's going to still give me what I want?
And what is he probably going to say?
If
Come on now.
If he's
Come on.
pausing too long, he's wrong. He's just trying to get you.
Okay.
and
So
go.
if he's pausing too long,
He's
ladies,
wrong.
it's a red flag all
Yes,
over that, huh?
yes.
If a man likes you, he's gonna verbalize.
So he's
it.
going to say something like, oh, you know you're important to me, after he's paused for 10 seconds.
I'm gonna give you the game right here.
Okay, I want to know the game. That's what we want
He's
to
gonna
know.
say, baby, look, you know, we hang out, we have a good time. I don't want to stop that. I want to let things take its natural course. If he run that natural course thing on you, I want to say, hey, if it works, it works. Hey. Ladies,
Or he might just say something like, you know, I really enjoy my time with you or whatever. I thought we had already discussed this. I thought we was just, you know, having fun and we was just gonna see where it
just
led.
hanging out.
And then depending on who you are, some weaker women might be like, yeah, I know, I was just asking. He's like, oh, baby, you know, we just having fun, we good, you know. And then because a lot of times you really don't have to say much. You don't really have to say much to continue to get what you want from women. I'm telling you, it is, and that's,
No, you don't.
I mean, it's the scary truth, but it is the truth. You really don't have to say much. You don't really have to do anything. You don't have to do much. You could give them a couple of days of the week. You could give them a Tuesday, you could give them a Thursday, and you could be on your own on the weekend.
You can watch the game with them on Tuesday, and they might be happy.
But you give them a day. You give them a little day, and they good with that.
So women, stand up. Demand more time. Actions speak louder than words in any relationship. If he's really with you, he's going to be with you. If he's giving you that one day a week, sweetheart,
He's just not that into you.
Just not that into you.
But I will tell you this. One of the telltale signs to know is, all right, first of all, if you're not really getting the weekend, then you ain't really, you not main.
Okay.
You're not even his.
you're third string.
You might be third string.
Okay.
If you can't get a weekend,
Okay.
you might as well wrap it up. You might as well start looking. Keep yourself open. If somebody don't commit to you, always keep yourself open. But even if you get in the weekend, if he's calling you, let's say, Thursday night for Friday, then that meant that he couldn't secure anything better all through the week. And so he came to you as the last option.
You're on rotation.
If he calling you Friday for Friday,
Oh, women don't
you
answer
really,
the phone.
You really down the line.
But it's rotation. Some brothers, I'm breaking the bro code. Brothers, forgive me. Most men got rotations. If they doing what they doing, they got rotations.
Okay.
It depends on what you stand in that rotation. Ladies, go out and get this book. Make yourself the priority. If you want to be part of rotation, or you want to be wifey or a main, and tell them quit using that word wifey when you ain't wifey. But you part of a rotation, and
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna tell you, you know, me being single, yes, I had a rotation. Like, okay, do I want to see her this weekend? No. You know.
Okay. We've got a caller. Hi, Eric. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Wonderful. You've got a
Yeah.
question for
I love
us?
your show. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Eric.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
We
Yeah.
can.
Oh, okay. I got a question for the gentleman in the brown jacket.
As you.
After dating, between the first and fifth date, when should you start expecting sex?
Okay. Could we talk about the relationship first? But okay. Questions out there.
You said after the 5th date, when should you expect sex?
After the first date, when should you expect?
Well, most men that I know say they have sex by the 3rd date. Now, when you should expect sex depends on you, actually, and when you want to have it. But I mean, I personally don't suggest that people have sex quick, because I think good sex especially, is like makeup. It has a lot of flaws. So if you are at a point in your life where you're looking for something that is meaningful, you might want to wait a little bit longer than the 4th, the 5th date, depending on how much conversation you have. But I mean, if you're comfortable, you do it. But
Do you find that that's one of the mistakes that women make?
Yes.
yes,
Is first assuming that they're the main one, and
Yes.
then sex too fast.
Make me wait.
I think a lot of women have sex because for so long men have been slaves to sex that they know that's one way they can get a woman into the bed. I mean, get a man
Into
with
the bed.
them.
Okay.
So, so they use sex in order to get you near, and they think another thing women assume is that their sex is special, when a lot of times it's not.
Men don't think like that. If you're gonna quick way to a man hard, make me fall in love with you. My ex-wife, I fell in love with her. She made me wait. I had to work. But if I don't have to work, my heart ain't coming easy.
Okay.
You know, if you make me work, make me sit and talk to me, a conversation will get you further than a little sex.
Okay.
So it depends. To answer the Eric question, 4th or 5th date, how much time you spend talking to this young lady? How much time are you investing in this young lady? If you're not investing any time, and you're talking like 5 minutes on the phone, like what you're doing, let's go do this, and you're doing menial things, you might not get sex. And if your goal is sex, you should just tell her. If your goal is to be committed,
Okay.
go for it.
Okay.
I agree with that. If your goal is sex, you should just tell her.
Okay. I agree too. I
There's
think
a lot of
people
women
should
won't-
say what their goals are
Yeah.
and what their objectives are, because that way people can make a decision.
And-
They either want to be a part of it or they don't want to be a part of
And
it.
you'll be surprised how many women will say, okay.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got Katrina on the phone. Hi, Katrina. How are you doing?
Hi there.
Hi.
My best question's for the men. What would you consider as too revealing? I often get, mixed up when I go to the club and dance. I don't know what's too revealing, what's not too revealing. I don't want to give too much away, but at the same time, I don't want them to think that I'm not giving in that respect.
Well, I'm sorry
Okay,
for
thank
this.
you. What's too revealing?
I'm sorry for
Including.
this joke, but I don't want to see the bottom of your butt cheek.
Well, I was going to say that. I was going to say bottom of the butt cheek. That's too revealing. Let's see what.
So you want basic acceptable clothing,
Right.
not
Yes.
to show any parts that need to be covered. So any private parts ought to be covered.
I'll say
Basically.
this:
Okay.
wear clothes that actually fit you.
Okay.
Yes.
If you wear clothes that fit you, you should be okay. If you're actually comfortable in your clothes, you should be okay.
Well, wear clothes that fit you. A lot of women think that they're comfortable in the clothes that are 2 sizes too small.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wear clothes that fit you, not
Wear
2
your
sizes.
size.
Wear your size.
Wear your
right?
actual size.
And also, wear clothes that accentuate your figure. Don't wear clothes because everybody else wearing them. Don't wear clothes because it's fashionable.
Okay.
Wear clothes that accentuate your figure. If you're a very breasty girl, wear clothes that, lift it up. But don't show everything, just lift it up.
Right. You have to wear clothes that work with your body type.
You have a nice derriere? Wear some nice jeans that'll fit you and hug your curves and your thighs. But you ain't got to show me everything.
Exactly.
But just for the record, cleavage is not bad.
Cleavage is not bad.
That's not a bad thing. That's your friend.
But cover.
But
Still.
cover, you obviously want to cover.
Right. You want to cover the necessary parts.
Right. But the cleavage, that's your friend.
Okay.
And boy shorts will only be worn in private, not in public.
Unless you're in the video, right?
Unless you're in the video.
Hi, we've got a caller on the phone. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm okay. Hello?
Hi, Aaron. How are you?
What I want to say is that there's a difference between a male and a man.
That's true.
The way a man perceives sight from a woman is different than the way a male sees sight. Because a man looks at what a woman is supposed to be spiritually inside and not exteriorly. But a male looks at the booty, not the beauty.
Did he write this down or he just... Okay.
So that's the difference, because when you show yourself sexually, you're seeing a part of you. Yeah. And a lot of women get caught up in relationships because they don't realize that tie, that emotional tie that comes with, that could happen with sex, is a tying thing that's spiritual. So you have to look at it from a man's perspective on the spiritual side.
Thank you very much.
And a male.
Okay, what are some of the other assumptions that women make? And when you talk about relationships, do men think about relationships and the emotional ties differently than women, as our caller pointed out?
Yeah, we do. The main assumption is that we can read your mind. That's why I say verbalize what you need to tell me. Communication is key in anything you do. It's communication. Communicate. Tell me what's wrong with you. Tell me what you're going through. Mm-hmm. And don't give me a delayed story. If I've done something to you, tell me as soon as you possibly can.
Okay.
Don't let it fester in you, because then it all comes out. I've done something 2 weeks ago, then I've done something today. It all comes out today, what I've done 2 weeks ago. I'm like, I didn't know I did anything wrong. So just tell me. Communicate. Verbalize. Don't assume we can read your mind.
That is, I agree with that. A lot of times, I think that women think because you are around them that you would know certain things. Like, just because you're around them, you would know their favorite color, or you would know when their hair changed, or you would know certain things. And in all actuality, I don't pay attention to a lot of stuff. And I think that most men don't pay attention to a lot of little things. And I think that women, they do. And so because they do, they feel like we should.
Okay. Okay, we've got Suzanne on the phone. Hi, Suzanne. How are you?
Hello,
Hi,
Suzanne.
how are you?
Hello,
Hi.
Suzanne.
Hey, Suzanne.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I wanted to find out how do you touch a man's heart? That's question number one. And question number two is, how do you get a man to express his feelings towards you? If he's not a verbal person, how do you get...
Okay, how do you touch his heart, and
Touch his
how do you
heart.
get him to express his feelings to you?
As far as
And how do men express their feelings?
Be patient with a man. We're not taught to deal with our feelings.
If you got some guys are better than others.
Yeah.
But if you got a guy who is just there's some men who are just macho. You know, they just, it's really going to be hard to get them to express themselves.
Okay, that's the man that says, I love you, and if it changes, you'll be the first to know.
Right.
And he may never say it again for 30 years.
He might not tell you he loves you. He might show in his actions.
Right.
Okay.
As men, we're not taught to deal with our feelings like that.
Okay.
Right.
So when we come across a woman who wants us to express ourselves verbally, it's hard for us to do.
And it becomes frustrating.
Yeah.
Especially if you keep pushing.
She nagging me.
There's basically, you have to get to an understanding of the man you are dating. There are just some things that's within a person's personality and some things that are not. And so if you are dating somebody who is who doesn't express themselves well, or to the point where you feel like you don't like it, you have to kind of weigh it against everything else. And you have to decide, okay, that's something that I am willing to be patient about because of everything else he does is good or great. And then, you know, maybe he'll come around. But if you keep pressuring him, it may work against you.
Okay.
Because it's going to frustrate him.
I can answer her first question and get to the second one.
Okay.
A key to the man's heart, if you want a quick step, ask him about his childhood. If you get him open about his childhood, you get to the meat and bones. You know, because he'll tell you what he did when he was a kid, if his father was around, or how he felt about his father or his mother. He can tell you them childhood memories that he had were bad and they were good. If you start talking about that, be patient. Don't pry, just be a little bit patient about it, and he'll open up to you. He opened up slowly. It's a slow process, because a man he's emotionally unstable. So therefore, he's emotionally compromised because he's never taught to deal with his feelings.
He's never taught how to deal with his feelings.
Another thing,
childhood. He'll tell you
another way that I feel like is a key to a man's heart is acceptance. Acceptance of who he is, whatever it is that he does. Like you always hear guys say, I want to ride or die chick or whatever. It's somebody who just basically is just down for him, somebody who just basically accepts him for who he is and what he is. That right there, you know, making him feel comfortable with himself, basically is priceless. And that's in every facet of his life, whether that be, you know, his work, his sex, you know, his play, you know, accepting it. Now that doesn't mean, you know, that, you know, you let him just go run rampant over you. You still have your boundaries, but you just have to, you know, you never forget that. You know, you don't let anybody just run rapid over you and just accept everything they do. But acceptance is one of the things that is real key to a lot of men.
Okay, we've got another caller. Hi, Carl. How are you?
I'm good. Good evening. Interesting topic. Interesting discussion as well, too. I could tell from the gentleman's conversation that when they spoke earlier about maturing out of doghood, first of all, men are not dogs. The women make the man's dog. Okay? The thing that happens in a lot of relationships is that the man doesn't know what it is that he's looking for. If he's looking for a relationship, if he's looking for, like you said, that ride or die, if he's looking for that companionship, he has to be able to identify within himself what it is that he's looking for. That emotional side of a man, you know, the thing that real men don't cry, that's a bunch of crap. That's why you got a lot of men that's out here with hostile, aggressive attitudes because they don't know how to express themselves. And you can't have these women who think that it's all right for the man to disrespect them. Because if a man first starts disrespecting a woman, then that woman has a call upon herself to get away from him. Then eventually that man will start understanding, why is it that I can't stay in a relationship? And he'll have to start looking at self instead of others. The other point is that when we go out and we go for everything that's out there, we have to look at some of the statistics. And we, you know, as black men, we really have to be very conscious of the fact that if you look at the U.S. Census and you look at the age and demographics of married people, you will find that other cultures are marrying younger and longer. Yet in our culture, we are marrying later and shorter. You know, when they had the vow till death do us part, you know, it's not that we're going to get into a relationship and then the first time the vow breaks, we're going to, you know, break and run. You know, that's going to bring out the maturity. That's going to bring out the masculinity. See, because when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. You know, so there has to be some type of foundation for all relationships. And if that foundation is based in whatever your faith is, whatever your spirituality is, then you have the basis of an excellent relationship. So when the rain does come, one of you are going to have the umbrella and be able to sustain it. And, you know, and to the sisters, please stop selling yourself short, because there are good men out here. They're looking for you. They're not, you know, that saying, you want a freak in the bed, but a woman in, how's it go, guys?
You want a freak in the bed, a woman in the streets.
A woman in the house, but a freak in the bed, or whatever it is.
You want a woman in the streets and a freak in the sheets.
Yeah. So, yeah, so you understand what I'm saying. We want that, you know, and if we didn't have that woman role model in our life, then it's up to us to create by figuring out what it is that we're looking for. Thank you.
I just wanted to make one comment about the first thing that he said about women make men dogs.
Not true.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly. That's almost putting men in the realm of like a child, because that's like saying, okay, that child is bad because his parent wasn't a good parent. Well, men, we grown. It's not up to a woman to make us do right. Why can't we just do right? We always talking about that women don't allow us to lead. We should lead in that way. We should just do right.
We could,
you know, it doesn't mean it's not on a woman to necessarily say, okay, I don't want to sleep with you. How about you decide not to sleep with her? How about you decide to get to know her?
And how about you decide not to step out on the relationship? You decide to stay in the relationship and work out the problems. I just personally don't believe that people can make other people do anything. I think people make decisions about what they want to do based upon what they are experiencing, and people need to learn to verbalize that. All people need to be their own priority and not anybody's option.
Can I say something? When he said he might have meant from a young boy or a man being hurt by a woman who had done him wrong, I'm going to say this. My ex-wife broke my heart completely. Did it make me a dog? No.
But it does make some other men dogs.
It makes other men run to that course.
Because women will...
But if you're a grown man, if you spiritually connected, you shouldn't have that problem.
You should own up to it, and you should just... Right.
Now, I opened the book, and it says, his ego. Let's talk about that section.
Oh, man. All right.
Let's talk about that. It says, even modest guys have egos. Let's talk about the male ego and how it affects relationships.
It's fragile.
Yes, our ego is fragile. It is very, very fragile. And some guys are bigger than others, but it's a very important element when dealing with men.
Now, you say that the way that's probably most evident to stroke a man's ego is by having an attractive woman in our lives. We have to talk about attractive, and we tried to define it a little earlier, but I guess attractive is dependent upon what that guy says. But yes, a good-looking woman strokes an ego better than anything else, not because she gives us compliments, but because her presence alone has the power to stroke our egos. So how does that work?
There's a movie, and I think it demonstrates this the best. It's called She's Out of My League. And there is he's an airport like TSA agent.
Right.
He's real goofy, real nerdy, and this girl who is basically a 10 likes him. And so when he walks around, his friends are like, wow, how is it that you got this girl? I can walk, listen, I could walk in the room with a girl who's a 10, and she could be a waitress. And guys will look at me like, dude, you must be the man. But if I walk into a room and let's say I'm with a doctor and she's a 5, they'll just be like, what's up?
For real, dude?
For real?
That's what we gonna say to you, for real?
But I'm telling you, And every guy, I mean, every guy knows it. You walk in the room with a fine woman, you the man, because men are visual, and that's what we are. And if you see a man with a fine woman, you like, dude, he got some money, he got some game, he got something.
Let me add that. When you walk around with a fine woman, women notice you. My wife is a beautiful woman. My wife is a beautiful woman. When I walk around with her, they were like, women approach me. You with her? Yes, my wife. And it really wasn't, she made me more attractive. So women, quit doing that. You see a brother with a woman, respect that woman.
Okay, one of your quick tips says, when you first start to date a man, don't ask him, when am I going to see you again? Let him pursue you.
Yes.
That's good advice.
So how does that work? How does that play out?
Well, okay. First of all, I think...
We just had a first date. It was great. What happens next?
The old-fashioned part about me is I think men should pursue women.
Okay.
Okay. I think that if a man really likes you, he's going to get in your space. He's gonna call you. He's going to see what you're doing.
Okay.
So
if you don't call me in how many days?
Really, the next day.
Okay, if you don't call the next day, then I just need to figure out that I had the most fun. I had more fun than you did, and just go on my way.
It might be a potential roster. Okay. Because a man wants, she's going to call you the next day, like, yo, what you doing today?
There's also, I have to make room for a certain maturity level.
Okay.
There are guys who play little games. Oh, I'm going to wait 3 days because somebody said there's a 3-day rule or something.
Right, somebody did say that.
Yeah, there's some guys who...
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense, but there are some guys who do that. But personally, I suggest to all women, because one of the things that I think that women have a problem with sometimes is that they're not sure whether a guy really likes them. And if you are a woman who have had problems figuring out if a guy really likes you, this is the way to go, because you know that he likes you if he's constantly calling you. But if you're constantly calling me, you don't really know if I'm going to call you. You don't really know if I like you. I might just talk to you because I'm bored, or I may also talk to you because this may be some sex I might end up falling into one day. If I'm bored, I might call you Friday, and you may be available.
Okay, so women should wait.
So women should wait.
Until you pursue them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the caller said, he who finds a wife find a good thing. And the other part of that is, he will find favor in the Lord. Let him find you. If you're pursuing him, you flip the tank. Most men will be like, I'm going to wait.
Okay. We have a caller. Hi, Brent. How are you doing?
Hello, this is Brent Larson.
Hi. You have a question for us?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, how's it going,
Hey, how you doing, Brent?
Doing very well. I had just a quick question. I started dating my girlfriend about 3 years ago, and we started going very slow about things. She knew my Christian beliefs, and I knew her as a woman that found me attractive in many ways. So time goes on. We're here at the present day, and this young lady is trying to make me sleep with her, and I just don't know what's the right balance between sleeping with her and stroking the ego and all of the procrastination as a man, and for all the absolutions of reality.
Oh, wow, that is a dilemma.
That's a big dilemma.
Well, if the issue is, and some people think that some people still believe that sex should occur after marriage, and if you're not married, then you need to decide if you want to get married. 3 years is a long time to date, so you need to make a decision. So as my mother would say, it's time for you to play ball or go home.
Did she actually say that, or something about a pot?
Yeah, it had a pot in there.
Yeah.
Right? It says, ways a man can tell if he can take advantage of you. How can men tell if they can take advantage of you?
Wow, another tough question.
That's right. No. He's done research.
One of the ways, well, one of the ways that a man can tell if you apologize a lot, if you explain everything you do, especially if it's early on. When it's early on in the interactions and you explaining everything you do, he can tell. Now, that's different from being in a relationship and maybe explaining something to your mate because you want them to be clear on something. But one of the ways is that when you talking to somebody, you ask them something, they explain every single thing that they do. They apologize for every little thing. They're sorry for every little thing. That's one of the indications that he, that if he is that type of person, he may start exploring something like that.
Okay. How do you break that cycle?
You stop explaining.
Okay.
One of the things is this. You have to act accordingly. If you're only dating somebody, if it's just casual, you don't have to explain everything. Sometimes it's, hey, what are you doing Friday? I'm busy Friday. And that's it. You don't have to say, well, me and my girls, we're going this, and then we're doing that, then we're doing that. No. You don't have to do all that. You just say, I'm busy.
Just say I'm busy.
Yeah.
Because that's a form of insecurity if she's explaining all the time. And when you're insecure, that gives the man a clear indicator, take advantage of you. And she can say less as possible. It was like he said, what you doing Friday? Hanging out with my girls. That's it. Well, I'm busy. If he asks where you going and this and like that, he's prodding when he don't need to be prodding. He's fishing. And if you're really not into you that way, don't answer him. Especially if you're the one pursuing him. So ladies, don't ask him, can I call you? Don't be calling him. Like if you're calling me all the time, I know I can take advantage of you because you're calling me all the time. But if I'm calling you, making plans with you.
Okay.
I agree with that.
All right. So what's another way or another thing that women should avoid doing? Don't call after the first date. Wear some clothes. Okay.
Know your position.
No sex. No sex. And don't explain. So what else is it? Where else are women messing up?
They don't know their position.
Knowing their position in the relationship.
In his life.
In his life. So you ask, hi, what role do I play in your life? Is that the question?
That'll scare a lot of men off. That question right there, a lot of men will pause and be like, Now he got to get serious. He got to talk to you. Now he got to engage you intellectually. It ain't about the physical no more. Now you asking him what role you play in his life. Because he has a mother, he might have a sister, he might have a daughter. He might have a friend. He might have a booty friend, whatever. But you asking him what role, where you fit in. Now he got to find somewhere for you.
One of the things that I think some women don't do is they don't pay attention. They don't actually listen. You know, they hear you talking, but they are not listening. They don't retain the information. For instance, if I meet somebody and I say, I'm looking to, I'm just looking to date or whatever. I'm not looking for anything serious or something like that. I'm gonna tell you what that means. That means I'm just looking to date. I'm not looking for anything serious. And if me and you end up having sex, I'm just looking to have sex with you. I'm not looking for anything serious. Some women look at that as, well, you know what? Once we start to get into it, he'll start liking me. I'll be his woman. No, that doesn't mean that. Is it possible? Yes. How likely? Probably unlikely, depending on the type of dialogue. But everything depends on the dialogue.
Yes.
Everything depends on what you're saying. Like if you get into a situation and you start talking about, well, I'm really looking for something, but, right now I'm just kind of seeing whatever, and whatever I do, I want it to lead to something more. If you in that type of dialogue, then it could be fine. But if you introduce to him, oh yeah, I'm just having fun too, but that's not really the truth, because there are some women who do that. They just kind of go along with what you say because they don't want to be combative or they don't want to go against what you're saying. You need to be honest with yourself, and then you need to be honest with him. If that's not what you want, you don't need to get into that situation. You need to walk away from that. Quick. Okay. Because I'll tell you this. I have met women, and you know, you speak to them, and we have different wants. I may want to just date around. They may want something else. Because I said I want to date around, if they feel like they like me, they may go along with it. Or maybe they tell me no, but they still talk to me. A lot of the times, even when you still talk to them, you still end up having sex with them. Because I don't care who you are. If you a girl and you attracted to a guy, like a guy, whatever, if he's not a total a-hole to you, he treats you with a little respect, and he just, you know, entertains you here and there, he can fall up in some. It won't even be that hard. All he got to do is put you in the position.
Okay.
Especially if he's good with women.
And be patient.
And be patient. Because the thing is this. He doesn't necessarily have to have sex with you right away. Because he's probably already having sex with somebody else. So he's not thirsty.
Back to the roster.
Okay, we've got a caller. Hi, how are you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. This question is for a light-skinned brother. My girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, keeps showing up at places where me and my new girlfriend is going. Now, is her following me around? How do I get her to stop doing that? Or is that stalking, or she just keep just showing up?
She's stalking you.
That's stalking. You need to call the police and
Yes.
get a restraining order.
Get a temporary restraining order at your nearest police station.
That's right.
He can't get it. He can't. He can't get a restraining order. It's in a public place.
Okay.
He can't get one.
He can try, because she coming to.
He can't get one. He never said she came up to him, she did anything to like threaten him. You can't get, I mean, just because you somewhere.
How was it at me though? I never been stalked.
You know, I mean, you can't do anything. You just
you just have to put up with it. Right?
Yeah.
I look like I've been stalked.
I say.
How does she know where he's at? That's what I'm wondering.
I say change your hangouts. Actually.
Yeah, I don't. How does she
upgrade the places you visit?
How does she
see
know?
How that happens?
Yeah. How does she know where he's at?
Now, there's a quick reminder that says, you want to train guys. You have to start from the beginning. You have to get them accustomed to your lifestyle, whatever that may be. You have to get them accustomed to how you want to be treated. Remember, it all starts at the beginning. First impressions mean a lot.
Yeah, they do.
What does that mean?
Okay. One of the examples I used is, okay, let's say I meet you. We're discussing our first date, okay? Let's say you are a person and you like to do things. You like to go out normally, okay? Now, that doesn't mean, you have to go to some kind of expensive restaurant and make them spend all this money. But I'm just saying, let's just say you like to.
Taking me out then, okay?
I know, I saw that ring. I saw that. But anyway, so let's just say that's what you like, right?
Okay.
Now, let's say you meet a guy. He's like, hey, what's up? What you want to do, this and this and that. And you say, well, it doesn't really matter. He's like, well, how about I just come over your house, we watch a movie.
Oh, no, that's Blockbuster nights. No.
So,
okay.
Let's say you do that.
Okay.
It's very likely that the next time he asks you to do something, it's going to be, oh, why don't you just come over my house?
Okay.
Or why don't you just do this?
Okay.
Because his first impression of you is that you cool with just staying in the house. Now, if you are somebody who likes going out and he asks you that and you're like, well, no, that's not, what I want to do. How about we do something else? And then he's like, well, how about we go to dinner or we go to whatever? Then he starts taking you out. That doesn't mean that you can't ever watch a movie, but you have to let him know that you like going out. You have to put that in his head, or he'll be chilling on the couch,
and you have to
drinking some
do
wine.
That at the first
in
date,
the beginning.
In the
Yes.
very beginning, instead of trying to change. So it's almost like what you said earlier, where you find yourself in the position at the beginning, is generally how the relationship
Sure.
goes. So
Yes.
if you are an occasional late night call in
Right.
the beginning, you will always
Be-
be an occasional late night call.
Right.
That's
Okay,
your
so
position.
if you start out having blockbuster nights, then
you will always be a-
always have blockbuster
Blockbuster.
nights.
Allow me to say this, ladies. Make your first couple of dates interaction dates where you have to interact. Don't be at his house. You don't come to your house. Make them interaction dates. They don't have to be high priced. You can go bowling, go shoot pool. You can go for a walk, but make them interaction dates where you have to interact and talk. Don't try to go to a restaurant because sometimes the guy might get fancy, want to have a setting for romance. If he feeds you, most men think, well, I'll go here, I'm getting some. Because I want the Ruth Chris. Interaction.
I'll tell you one thing that I suggest. I suggest that women schedule day dates, like a lunch date, something early in the, like 6
Okay.
o'clock or whatever.
Okay.
One reason is because you're pretty much forced to interact with them, you're forced to talk to them, and then there's not the pressure of the nightlife and whether he's going to come back home with me.
This has been a great discussion, but we have come to the end of our time.
Okay.
I want to thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. Thank you, Akira.
Thank you for
And
having me.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for
I also
having me.
want to thank one of our sponsors, Brown Sugar Bakery. Stephanie Hart has always been a wonderful sponsor for us, and I'd like to make it known to the public we love her as much as we love you. I want to express how good I thought this book was. Be
Thank
Your
you.
Priority and Not His Option. I think that it is a dating primer that women should probably get, especially when the rules of dating seem to have become so complicated. So thank you for sharing a male's point of view. And guys, they didn't tell too many of your secrets, so they have held their position in the men's club. As I always say, in my line of work, I think everything you do in your life, you should be your own priority. Make sure that you know who you are, what it is you want, and go for it. And don't let anything or anybody hold you back. If you want the great relationship, always look for the great relationship and have that expectation. This has been a Sip of Inspiration. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, the Empowerment Doctor. I want you to dream big and live the life that you've imagined, because life is too short to drink cheap champagne.
Living is the only way tomorrow's gonna ever come. Listen to the words of the song. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be Now the trees sang the song to me. He said the birds sang it to the breeze. Just in case I was feeling down and didn't really want to be around. He said the breeze sometimes come with rain, but nothing in life stays the same. Tomorrow's gonna bring a change. The message remains the same.